That was their plan. Step one. Who's a really good guitar player that we should just take out first?
Well, they took out Bowie first.
Yeah, they took out Bowie. All right. See, it's pretty bad. I don't know. I mean, I know it's like far-fetched too, but it's also like,
I don't know.
dude, what the fuck? I just saw like videos of tanks going by on a train the other day on YouTube, and I'm like, what are those?
Wow.
They're here to protect us.
Oh my god. OMG. Oh, it's pretty funny. Pretty surreal though. I definitely had a good laugh the other day at the. I mean, if you really just run through the gamut of what humans appear to be doing right now, it's like. Oh, God. It's funny.
Surprising how much music is out there. When you actually go and consider how many songs have ever been created in the world. So,
Yeah.
I'm taking a bunch of supplements. A couple I should be taking with food because they make me nauseous, but I always forget.
Eat a cookie.
No, I didn't take them because of that. But I forget them. We'll probably clear out of here soon then. I mean, probably going to the summer program here on Friday.
Why are they leaving?
I don't think it was that profitable of them to run this place, I guess. I'm not really sure. That would be my guess.
This was
It wasn't
like,
really producing students for them.
Doylestown
Feeder school.
feeder for Upper Black Eddy.
Uh-huh.
As preschoolers matured and, went into the, I guess the Upper Black Eddy school is kindergarten or 1st through 8th grade.
Yeah, it's kindergarten.
Yeah. And
I
so,
don't know if they probably have baby groups or something also. But the idea was for these people to produce people that go up there.
Waldorfians. Dorf.
It's annoying to have Purple Rain playing in your head when you don't know all the words.
Mm.
It's kind of mumbly.
I have a feeling you're gonna have Prince in your head for a while.
I wonder if therapists get more like clients after Rockstar dies.
And they just keep playing their music over and over.
Yeah,
Nice.
right. Please help me.
You guys are over here, the new.
I have Prince playing in my head. I don't know the words.
I don't know.
No reason why.
That's fine. Another full rain.
What percentage of the population are now singing Purple Rain? Like 90 or? All our pals are headed to Genie Zandy,
Oh, yeah?
I guess, right?
Fuck them.
Genie Zandy.
I haven't heard anything.
Hey, thanks so much. All right.
Hey there.
What you got there, Jeff? What you got? What, if I threw money at you? That always helps. Like a quarter in the machine.
Then I might dance.
That'd be a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with the camera. No, I'm singing Purple Rain. And I wasn't before.
It's
What is the
just a
song?
matter of time.
Yeah, maybe Prince wasn't the right person to kill, you know? Not sure that's good for your
Yeah,
population necessarily.
right.
Worker bees to be roaming around humming Purple Rain.
The zombie army is
Let's
singing
make a little
Purple Rain.
parade in honor of Prince's death.
Think
We're in this neighborhood. Make a flag out of some of this stuff and be here.
Make a flag.
There's a nice rainbow thing over there. We could use that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that would get the point right across. Everybody would know exactly.
You just keep yelling Purple Rain, and now
They'd be like, the gay pride parade is apparently coming to us down.
randomly.
I'm not sure why. There's just 4 weird. Then they'd be trying to figure out who's with who. And how would you even? Yeah, you don't even fit in there because you don't have another guy to partner up with.
He doesn't need to. He's trans.
He's trans.
Oh, we're gonna have a rainbow parade in
Yeah.
honor of Prince.
That's what it would look like if you were just going to take that thing.
LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've totally just lost my mind. Just walk around and talk to myself in a stupor.
Why are Christians so intolerant?
All of them?
Well, I don't know all of them.
Oh. I know one that isn't.
You do? You know a Christian that's not intolerant?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's gay.
Oh, okay.
And he also like dabbles in, other traditions. Like he has an altar with like a Buddhist thing and a pagan thing and Christian things.
He's multi.
Well, doesn't
he's not
count.
He's multi-devotional?
Yeah,
He's
that's
not really.
different.
But he's a minister
Uh-huh.
and he
And
goes
he ministers-
to like, theological school.
Does he
I don't
practice
know
as a minister?
Yeah.
He's
In
new
a Christian.
He's not.
Yeah, but
things.
it's kind of a, New
Yeah.
York City kind of wide open
I see.
situation.
Right.
Like this place.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, I get your point. Why are Christians so intolerant?
I don't know. I was listening to Christian radio the other day.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
I know. And there was an ad encouraging people to boycott or demonstrate Planned Parenthood facilities and, accuse them of harvesting, infant or fetal tissue. I was like, Planned Parenthood is so useful to so many people. I mean, it's such a, democratic form of intelligent public service. Why would the intolerant Christians not understand that?
Yeah, but this is where it's funny because no, because if you really look, you're like, okay, well, if you take a so-called human being and you raise it on corn, sugar, and petroleum and brainwash it, and with via all kinds of bizarre bullying
And then
tactics and
feed it
marketing
Jesus.
and feed it Jesus, and which is a dude on a cross, then nobody really reads the Bible, so just with cute sayings attached to, you know what I mean? You're like, and then, I don't know what percentage of the population has had mustard gas exposure, but a large,
Huh.
And the education system is total. The whole thing's just a total sham. So
You're becoming very comprehensive.
it's kind of funny. It's like, what,
Did Jeff tell you that our landlord sprayed all around the house today?
No.
For
No.
dandelion killing
I-
purposes?
They don't care. No one cares. And they're all, but
I
again,
was
you're like,
there,
how-
and the
can you hold anyone accountable
the lawn is
for-
in full bloom right now.
what
And they
chance
sprayed
do
it
they
with what,
have,
Roundup?
He's not sure. He's like, I had extra little killer product.
Everyone sprays that shit everywhere.
It's done by
So
the time it happened.
yeah, it's too late. Dude, I think they are rolling in the tank.
So you answered my question.
What?
Why Christians are so
I mean,
intolerant.
What the fuck? Hello?
I get it.
We have no nutrition.
There was a caller. There was a caller on this show. She was a Lutheran or something like that.
Oh, and
And
the
she
chemicals.
she was talking on, I guess it was, this was more like Catholic radio than Christian radio. And she was kind of accusing the interviewer and the interviewee, it was a call-in, about Catholics appearing to have it all, know it all, be too full of themselves with respect to having a monopoly on the faith.
Go Lutherans.
And that was her question. And so the gentleman that started to answer it just went on and on and on and on like a Catholic know-it-all, quoting Bible and verse, interpreting that Bible and verse.
That's not Catholic one.
What?
Quoting the Bible is not a Catholic thing. Catholics don't do that.
They were using the word the church and Jesus establishing the church and
But I
using
think
the word
particular
Catholic.
about quoting the Bible, that is not a Catholic thing, quoting the Bible verse.
Well, I should have,
Christians
maybe
do
I
that.
should
There's
have,
a full difference.
no, I get it, but I do get the Christian faith and Catholics don't necessarily see eye to eye, behave differently, but This was some kind of hybrid where it was
They're all
definitely,
mixed together now,
it was
just
a-
like the New Age.
I mean,
is
they were
all mixed
using the word the
together.
church and Catholic over and over again as just as if they were representing,
Yes.
the Roman Catholic Church, but he was behaving more like,
Well, But you're
a
dealing
Bible quoting Christian. So
with
he,
like Whisper Down the Lane. I mean, that at this point,
Yeah.
juncture, basically all religion in most culture is whispered down the lane. I mean, there is no real.
so by the time he got finished with his espousal to respond to her question, the guy that was interviewing her and taking her call said, "Oh, she already hung up." I thought how wonderful. Kind of, she made her point.
Proved it.
Yeah, he wasn't interested in a conversation. He just took the question and ran into, Bible mind with it. And there it was. There was his know-it-allism. Yeah. Oh, well. Well, my curiosity is sated. There is right there on Pine Run Road, just down from Lake Galena, there is a church and a radio station right behind the church in the field. You know the place? So
I didn't know it was a church.
yeah, there's a church on Pine Run, and then in the field behind it, there's
I
that
thought it
radio
was just a
station with
random
4
radio station.
tall towers, and that's a Christian radio station.
Oh.
So I wanted to tune in. It's pretty strange.
Oh, it's not one that you normally get around on the radio. You hear?
Yeah, it's AM.
Oh, it's AM.
Oh.
So there's
AM.
like 107.5 or
AM
something has
1570
all
in
pitches
Doylestown and 14 something in Coatesville.
Yeah.
And they're broadcasting right from there. But it didn't sound like there was anyone really live in the studio. It just sounded like they were grabbing Christian feeds from all over the place and running them through their, antenna. I was hoping that there'd be like someone in the building actually doing stuff and I could
No,
just,
there's no
knock up.
substance to anything. It's
just knock up and say, hey,
It's just
let's
like
talk about this.
random.
Yeah. Well, that's all I've got.
Okay.
I'm out.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It is an interesting, I mean, thing to play with. It's just a dream, the whole thing's just a dreamt identity, It's
Mhm.
just bizarre and can be instantaneously, obviously, because that's all it's ever, redreamt and recreated and filtered or whatever.
Yeah.
Not that anything's actually effective, but that seems like the most effective kind of meme in any sense for
Mm-hmm.
getting out from under all that bizarre overlay, whatever, I don't know, belief systems or
Yeah. Well,
field or
you could think of yourself as a captive alien consciousness. You can't leave here, but you're not from here.
yeah. That's
And
kind of how I think of myself.
captive alien consciousness.
That's how it feels.
Yeah. And so you are kind of forced to take in the impression field that the entertainment media has to offer. Yeah, so it's kind of like a surreal woe is me. I'm not from here. I don't believe anything that's happening, but I can't phone home. E.T. phone home.
No phone.
Yeah, I mean,
Phone's been
E.T.
disconnected.
E.T. lucked out, right? He got his little gadget working after they resuscitated
Where they
him.
started shooting down all the little aliens
And-
in the sky.
Yeah, and then his
Come back.
aircraft landed, and he said goodbye to, what was his friend's name? Elliot, right? Exactly. How come they haven't made
Right here.
with the finger? Yeah. How come they haven't done E.T. Returns with Elliot as an adult? Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
I know, or just even better, higher upgrade
Who could
on
play
the
Elliot?
graphics.
What's his name? Elliot.
I don't know.
Who's that
Drew
actor,
Barrymore's
Elliot?
Still alive.
Who is?
Drew Barrymore's still alive. She was the sister in that.
There you go.
Oh.
Drew.
True.
Drew's in.
She would be in.
Drew would totally be in.
She won her.
And who
daughter
was
in
the
that
actor that played
baby
Elliot?
show.
Why can't Elliot play Elliot?
Elliot could play Elliot. The same Elliot.
I don't know who Elliot is actually.
He wasn't as famous as Drew. Who was the mom? Their mom?
Mm.
Blythe Danner? No?
she's
No.
doing something. That mother.
Who's
she
that?
does something in particular. Speaks out about something. I'm not sure.
Oh,
about.
she speaks out about shit? That's cool.
Or maybe she's dead. I don't know.
Well, if she knows
Yeah,
Prince,
well, she might have spoke out about something and now she's dead.
if she knew Prince, it won't be long now.
Maybe she's a Christian.
She probably became a Christian. She's probably being interviewed at that radio station just around the block. Yeah. Well, so you are captive alien consciousness and you cannot phone home. No craft is going to come and take you. So you're here for whatever the duration is, having to, either participate in or check out or be entertained by the surreal nature of human culture fast asleep. Okay.
It's weird.
Yeah. No wonder everyone's so depressed.
I talked to a woman today who worked in a school, like the neighbor randomly talked to me. She just worked in the cafeteria in a school. And she's like, yeah, we got to take, she has to take all the little tests for sexting and suicide.
Oh.
But I've worked for the government. I said, yeah, so you just have to take, they set up, we had the safety seagull. The fucking safety seagull was the worst. So they have these little setup quizzes.
Safety seagull?
Yeah.
Like a bird seagull?
Yeah, and he was in charge of safety.
So they had to anthropomorphize safety through a bird.
When
the
I
image
first
of a
started working
seagull.
there, I was like, how do I get
Seagull.
rid of the safety seagull emails? And they're like, that's not funny. That's a serious thing you have to do.
Holy shit.
And I was like, oh. Okay, but seriously, how do I get this asshole off my list?
My God.
So, yeah, but they're they're tested, you don't even have to the answers you could just look up.
You just have to take them.
You just have to take it,
Yeah.
push the button. So you're not actually retaining any information. They're just wasting your time with these stupid little, things that are mandatory that you have to take. And they just
Well-
keep getting more and more.
This way you're educated.
Yeah. You have to at least look at it to pass, so they figure you've read it.
Something.
So what were
Yeah.
the two issues? Sexting and suicide?
For a cafeteria, she just hands out food, in the cafeteria.
Now, so she was supposed to be aware of,
She had to get some
or that she
training.
was not permitted to participate in sexting or
Well,
suicide?
I'm sure that too.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, aware of
Aware of
those
the
activities.
activities within the student body.
Yeah.
Eating grilled cheese, GMO grilled cheese.
So
GMO grilled
I
cheese.
looked up the mother on ET.
Who is it?
I'm sorry, I'm leaving my phone on because my nephew has his parole hearing.
We don't need to
in
know
case
why.
he calls me. Whatever. Anyway, Dee Wallace is a public speaker. and
Dee Wallace was the
Dee
mom.
Wallace,
Of
public
Drew and
speaker
Elliot?
and self-help author, having written 3 books, has her own call-in radio show where she talks exclusively about the creation of the self.
Oh God, we should talk to her.
Ooh, holy
Let her
shit.
talk to us, and also
Gold mine.
why don't
Damn,
you
dude,
do
it
ET
was something.
returns, and then you can pitch your idea.
We should call Drew and then pitch
I
the,
think she goes to expos, New Age Expo and
Wow.
like that, whatever.
Cool.
I don't know what she's talking about.
Let's
I'm not
Skype.
I'm gonna put the phone down.
let's
and try
find,
not to
yeah.
get-
The creation of the self
Creation of the self.
in in a good way?
Like in this way, some way, but.
Oh, like
I
in
don't
this
know
way?
How far, I don't know, but I forget. I
Yeah.
just remember reading about it.
You're not off to Massachusetts?
PayPal
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Oh, you leave tomorrow?
Hey, Ness, where are you going?
Sandy.
Oh, fine, that's great.
All right. Okay.
PayPal, you got it?
I might have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Hey, shit happens. So the theme this evening is, what was the theme?
You're a blonde.
Sexting.
And suicide.
Sexting, suicide, and
eating.
involuntary
Bringing
alien
back.
consciousness.
Sexting suicide?
And involuntary
I'll be
alien
over here sexting
consciousness.
the whole time, just to.
Yeah, Beth is sexting
Oh,
everybody.
sending sexy text to people or something?
We were also wondering about how come they haven't done a remake or a sequel to E.T. when E.T. comes back.
There was some
To
question
it.
about Christians.
And then the Christians were in there too.
Her website is called I Am D. Wallace.
Oh my god.
Nice.
That's awesome.
is that?
We should talk to
The
her.
mother in the movie E.T.
T. Wallace was the
Everyone,
mother.
What is she doing? But I remembered something about
Who
her.
knew?
She's talking about the creation of
That's what
itself.
everybody's
She's a
doing
public
right
speaker
now. The thing to do.
Uh,
I wear Converse and I talk
Freestyle.
about myself and my I
Yeah, we
amness.
were singing
Hasn't been
Purple Rain
released.
before.
Yeah, we were singing Purple Rain.
So
Yeah.
we don't know words.
I can look them up.
That's okay.
I know.
Oh, no.
I don't need it.
Why are you keeping your phone on?
I'm looking up
I can't see. I know
Channel
the
healing
words.
work for 20 years.
well, this
Conscious
place is
creation.
interesting. They're, they got wind and solar energy and composting toilets.
Mhm.
Oh, the place in
Just hopefully It's
Massachusetts,
not like,
Those will be
Shrewsbury.
Products of the government soon.
Yeah.
No, it just means you poop into a hole and then you put
No,
usually
Lisa
sawdust on it.
cannot go
When
there.
When you register, they give you your own bale of straw, which you have to bring with you every time you use the restroom.
It was sawdust at my
Yeah, and then you have to like pour the straw on your
It's usually
excrement.
sawdust. I thought, yeah, sawdust, and the sawdust does makes it like not smell as
I
well.
went to the.
like a cat.
I used to go
Think
to
of your cat.
these Native American retreats, and they had an outhouse there. It was very lovely, actually.
Mm.
It was a
Weddings have been held there.
Huh?
Sorry.
in the outhouse.
I mean, yeah, no, it was like a toilet, but it was, it looked all normal. It smelled good, and
Great.
it was, fine.
Wonderful.
I've been to some shitty outhouses.
Now I'm wondering about the showers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Showers.
Yeah.
You don't need to shower.
Well,
It's
they
only
said you
like
get
a
a
couple
towel.
days, isn't
Huh?
it?
Still Wednesday.
Friday through Wednesday?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
sure they
couple
have
days.
showers. They can't not have showers.
That's a long time to wear pink.
Things go down.
To wear.
Yes. To wear
I mean, you can wear pink once in a while, but like 5 days in a row.
Couple hours was a lot.
Pink and lavender? Holy shit.
Good luck.
We're only teasing you because we're jealous and we're
Maybe you should
envious.
become an Uber driver.
No, I started signing up for it, and then I got creeped out by all the weird love.
Yeah.
There is a website where you can be an Uber driver and only accept women or boys under 13. I forget what it's called. I swear to God.
Boys
I
under
don't-
13,
I
that
don't
sounds like the
Website
church.
for Uber drivers who don't want to.
Oh, I don't care about that stuff. I'm not. Believe me, I'll pick up anybody. I don't, I don't care.
As
If they
an
kill me, I'll be like, cool.
As
Like,
an-
before the police state kicks in, that's good.
involuntary alien
The
consciousness,
only
it's
thing
okay
is,
to
they
get
said not to
taken
bring
out.
stuff
Yeah.
that makes you, like.
I know, like, 'cause who
Perfume, I
cares?
get the
That's the
perfume thing, because sometimes,
It's too much.
right.
What are we talking about right now? What
The
you're-
retreat,
the
what you're
retreat?
allowed to not bring to the retreat.
Okay.
But I have some, my shampoo and conditioner and body wash all have scents to them. I'm like, freaking. Are they?
Oh my God, you have to buy new stuff.
I'm not buying new stuff.
Oh my God.
I just don't want you wearing like Estee Lauder perfume and shit. 'Cause that
Giorgio.
stuff stinks. And people
You
throw up.
would never get into an Osho talk with your products.
It's a Veda.
Oh,
I don't use any products.
It's a Veda,
It's not
yeah.
like anything.
right.
That's my secret. It's my secret now.
It's going to be very exciting. Would you mind doing a little blog while you're there
Yeah.
so we can check in on you?
A video blog.
Funny, live stream.
Yeah, just tell us. Just tell us what's going on. Send a group email out so we're like,
Come
wow.
Save me.
I'll be your Uber driver if you need one from that distance. That will be worth the money.
I have some CDs for you from Mike Maines and the Branches.
Oh yeah, that's cool. I was gonna go, but then.
So I'm sitting there
Like
at
moving.
on a bar stool watching Mike Maines and the Branches,
Who is Mike Mead?
Those guys
like a
seem good.
performing artist.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
just
okay.
came through
Okay.
New Hope.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there and I'm like, kind of shining. I'm feeling like, yeah, I probably am levitating right now. And I bet fucking lights pouring out of my head. That's how I felt. Thankfully, that wasn't happening, but sure was like, yeah,
Might
baby.
have been undetected.
Yeah, undetectable to everyone but me. And so this fellow comes and sits at the stool with me. Guy probably named like Elliot or something. And he's cool looking. He's got like a real nice beard, nice shiny eyes, friendly guy. He's got beer in hand, and that's like, more than half gone. So he asked me if I know this bar in Pendel where they have power hour between like 11 and midnight, $1 drafts, $1 domestic draft. And I'm like going, really? He was very friendly. And I was like pretending that I could hear him because the music was happening. So after some chit chat about the bars and the beers and stuff like that, he turns to me and says, I got to tell somebody. And I'm like, oh my God,
no.
what's coming?
What's coming?
He was molested by a priest. He's just been diagnosed with some kind of thing, or like his girlfriend voted for Hillary, something really bad. And he says, today's the first day I haven't smoked marijuana in 13 years. And I'm like,
So he sits down next to you. You're like, you want to smoke a joint?
Bad move, buddy.
and I was like, that's fantastic. I said, you're going to have a lot of fun finding out who you really are. And that was that. And he said that his girlfriend, this new girlfriend, doesn't smoke and is not quite happy that he's smoking. And she already apparently gave him a little grief that she thought that he was smoking on his first sober day in history. And he said, no, I had something to drink, but I'm not smoking. So I wished him well.
Okay.
Yeah. 13 years. Every day.
Wow.
I wanted to get down on the ground and do I'm not worthy, kind of thing.
I think there's a lot of people that once they don't stop ever.
Yeah.
I certainly ran into some people when I came back here. It was like, oh yeah, let's reconnect with them. It was like they've just been doing the same. They never
Wow.
stopped. Like from
Yeah.
high school to now, it's like.
hmm I didn't have the heart to tell him that I was like 5 days sober, but I was probably going to relapse.
Like that night. 5 days sober.
Yeah, I'm 5 days sober, but I'm likely to relapse.
Yeah, this is sucking.
But you stay with it.
If you can't,
If you hit that wall of
if you're
being,
going 5 days without drink or smoke, chances are you're not an addict.
yeah, yeah, right. Yeah.
But that's not necessarily true. But
Mm.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I agree with people.
It's that involuntary alien thing that gets you down. You're not,
Involuntary alien, like being taken over by aliens.
well, you are that. You are already of the nature of a, what would you call it? Transcendent alien consciousness. And you're forced to kind of witness the repugnant, if not entertaining, stupidity of the human race unfold, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you can't leave. That's why we got into the ET thing, because like you want to phone home, but no ship is going to come and get you. So you're here for the get-go. as an involuntary alien consciousness that has already transcended all of the mirth and foolishness of human consciousness, but there's nowhere to go. You just got to hang and see it through. See, we've been abandoned. We've been abandoned by the mothership.
At least there's pizza.
At least
And
there's pizza
marijuana.
And by
and
yourself.
marijuana. Yeah. And products and retreats.
And products and cookies.
Yeah.
All kinds of things.
All kinds of things.
Cookies.
There's cookies and there's gluten.
Internet.
Yeah. So we're okay. This is the Involuntary Alien Consciousness Club. People will understand. I've never felt that I belonged here. Welcome to the club. Well, don't you guys talk about spiritual shit? No, not anymore. No, we realize that we are involuntary alien consciousness, and so nothing really interests us anymore.
My therapist had a 2 thumbs up for you, Jeff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I went to see him the other day.
What was I credited with saying?
Well, he had an aunt and uncle who were swept up by the, we're online, I don't know if I should say it,
We'll say it in,
Kripalu
Kripalu.
movement.
Oh, yeah.
And he said they got very, and this guy is into like spirituality and Native American stuff.
Your therapist is.
Yeah.
So he's-
into it,
right.
but he.
So he's one of us. He's involuntary alien consciousness.
Probably.
Yeah.
And he, yeah, he is. And he said that his aunt and uncle just got like really, were devastated by it.
The fall from grace? Amrit Desai's fall from grace?
Yeah, well, some tragic things happened to these people. So,
Oh,
and so he just kind of like that whole Indian guru movement.
oh, he got turned off to the whole thing.
Yeah, that he's turned off that.
Oh. Well, but there's so much of it that's so chill. Just because Amrit Desai, who was kind of a mini guru with small hands and small junk, failed, doesn't mean that the whole culture is, gone south.
I don't know.
Donald Trump.
He just said.
Oh, Donald Trump. I'm sorry. I was talking about Donald Trump. I'm kidding.
Many hands or something, isn't that something they say about him? Big hands or small hands?
So anyway, he was aligned with me because of my dissing things in the way that I do. Not that I
He
need
had
to
some
know.
negative comments about. I think how it got started. I was talking to him about the Jimmy Zandy thing.
Oh,
I think that. For my, he's concerned by some people that, and we've had this conversation before of, these spiritual people that are really exploitive.
oh yes. Hmm.
And he, also finds them to be, some people to be like that too.
Sure. All right. Well, is he going to come and see us here at the Night Sky Sangha?
Well, I told
The
him,
Involuntary Alien Consciousness
I said,
Club?
listen to, her online and Night Sky Sangha. So maybe he will.
Hmm.
He might be ready to, I don't know what his,
Yeah.
personal interests are. I mean, I do actually kind of know, but I don't know if he's ever been, I guess he was just, being like, don't get caught up in, some stuff that, be cautiously optimistic about some of these characters,
Yes. Well, you could give him the same advice about whatever he believes in. I mean,
I guess he is.
not just his, new age fondnesses, but everything.
Yeah.
Dude, do you believe in anything? Oh, you should be careful. Be cautiously optimistic.
I don't, that's my words, that's not his
I'm
words.
cautiously pessimistic.
Be cautiously pessimistic. Be cautiously pessimistic about everything you believe in.
Depends what coast you live on.
Cookie?
On the West Coast, you can be positive, can be optimistic.
Oh my goodness.
The other day, Francine had me thinking I should pack up the wagon and head to Cali.
Good idea. Why not?
I did. I thought I just
I don't-
pissed you off a lot. Was that what you wanted to move to the other side of the country so you could never see me again?
That might be it.
Yeah.
No,
I have that
pissed me
effect
off
on
the other
people.
day, surprisingly. And my idea looks,
We are really.
my
well-
idea looks, my idea is looking really good, by the way.
Oh, nice.
So glad you got to say
Creative.
that.
So I bought that gazebo. Anyway, you don't need to hear my chatter about
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah. Well, see, now that we're done with everything, yeah, we may as well just go with the chatter.
You know that gazebo I bought last year?
Yeah.
Well, Francine and I took it apart in the winter, and it's just basically bending, and it's just was cheap kind of
Oh, right.
fitting and
Yeah.
whatever. But just because I just bought it, and also I said, I think I can resurrect this. I think I can do something with this to make it good.
Yeah.
So we put it up, and
Uh-huh.
you know, Francine
I
thinks
do-
the first storm is going to take it down, but whatever.
Yeah.
So it's essentially a square, a
Yes.
metal square with the side things.
Right. Right.
And I said, I'm going to put fabric over top of it and make it look kind of like, you know how you see on commercials.
Wasn't there already some fabric on top of it as the sun shade?
Yeah, but that got kind of moldy.
And the top of it
the
can't be
top
put
of
back
it, so you
together,
can't
so
use
it.
that thing.
Son of a gun. Damn gazebos.
So anyway.
We were going to use that gazebo to try to contact the mothership. Now look what's happened.
Well, the top of it is still there.
They're
And
making it into an
It's a
outhouse.
frame.
Oh,
nice
okay.
dome, metal dome.
Composting toilet goes in there.
Composting toilet
I
sounds good.
almost bought a composting toilet for my cabin.
You could steal one from Shrewsbury. You just rip it right out of the floor.
I'm sure Nan would love me.
Yeah, you don't mind if we put this in the trunk of the Audi, do you?
She drives an Audi, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just put a tarp down in the back.
Please, can't this be about something?
They won't think it's real.
This is no longer about anything.
I know, it all doesn't make sense. Composting toilets, framed gazebos.
D. Lawrence, D. Wilkinson, D.
My son
Wallace.
was beating my ear about over dinner about conspiracy theories.
Nice. Which ones is he fond of?
Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah, go ahead.
thinks the whole thing was, I guess it's the Illuminati.
Oh, the Illuminati, yeah.
Oh, boy.
What are they up to?
I don't know if it's who has really done it, but somebody, you know, the whole towers thing. Right?
Oh, the 9/11 thing, yeah.
And he killed Prince, too. They killed Prince.
Yeah.
He actually said that.
Of course he did.
He said somebody, the Illuminati killed Prince because Prince was against Warner Brothers and all the things. I said
He was
nobody
starting to
killed
speak
Prince.
out politically.
Oh my God.
Prince's girlfriend died 2 months ago.
Who? From what?
Infection. Prince's.
Yeah, he just said he had the
Ex-girlfriend died 2 months
flu.
ago.
They said he had the flu. I'm like, people don't die from the flu.
Old people.
He had
babies
epilepsy,
Yeah.
according to some other report as well. And the one report was if he had gotten the Tamiflu shot, that is contraindicated for an epileptic person.
Oh yeah, you don't want to
Cause,
give
you know,
flu
bad
shots. Oh, he actually is dumb enough to get a flu shot?
things. Oh, I have no idea.
So
And
Kyle
maybe
was
he took himself,
suggesting
yeah,
that
a flu shot.
Prince was homicided by the Illuminati?
I'm like a one-trick pony. I go back to sleep.
I mean,
Well, that would be
Sorry,
vaccines. If he
nothing
got a
else.
flu
Just
shot,
what needs
he
to
got a
happen. I have no
vaccine.
control over it. I'm like,
I get, you know, sometimes I just want to go la 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 la. Like I can't hear.
Yes, I
You know,
know.
I mean, because one minute I'm thinking conspiracy theory, next minute I'm thinking Donald Trump has a point. You know.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
That's scary.
Oh no, not Donald Trump.
I didn't.
We could probably
actually,
help
I
you with the
didn't
Donald
actually-
Trump.
Yeah, let's just deal with that first.
I just don't.
What kind of a
understand the
point could that
Tamara.
man
I'm
have?
sorry.
I'm sorry.
I want order as well, and I think
Pizza.
yeah.
Pizza.
Pizza's a good idea. Let's order pizza. Whew. It's
See
pretty
how that
weird.
distracted him?
What?
The mention
Good
of
news
pizza.
is I
Totally
got a
shut him down. He's like,
Sleep
"Hmm,
number
I
bed
can't get my thoughts together now.
that has a massage thing going on.
That's the best.
Says the most action my dad's ever seen.
Whoa.
Her and Remy are on there together on the little thing
Remy's
going up and down.
funny.
He's on her chest.
He was so funny. So I
He does
told
stand up.
Massage. I said, Ren. I didn't tell, I didn't say anything. He's on the bed and
This is your new bed that goes with places?
Sleep number.
as like,
Reclines and it
up,
vibrates.
Oh my
And
god.
then it has the
Sounds
wave.
great.
The wave was nice.
Oh, there's a wave?
You know, the rest of them are weird. It's loud and buzzy.
Oh.
It vibrates your whole
So
body.
you were on the new bed with Remy and you were teasing him?
and I put the, massage thing on
Uh-huh.
and it's going, brrrr, and it's exactly like, do you remember in the 70s? I remember one time we went out west with my mom and we were, traveling around or whatever. We
Magic
went to one of
fingers.
those, like, the hotels, like Hotel 6 or
Magic
whatever.
fingers, yeah.
And that, you put the quarter in the bed and it
Yeah.
vibrates. It's
It's just like that.
that, sadly.
So you bought a Magic Fingers mattress, did you?
So
Okay.
I turned it on and Remy, he's like this,
Yeah.
he jumps on top of me
Uh-huh.
and is laying like
Because he flipped
on
out.
me
Yeah.
because he's freaked out.
That's great. That's great. Maybe we could get Remy in that E.T. sequel.
He could
Yeah.
be E.T.
He just looks like E.T.
Yeah. I wonder if E.T. ages at all. Probably not.
I didn't really want a massage but I got it.
Oh, you didn't want the massage feature?
It came for free with the.
Oh, well. Did it come with a gazebo?
I hope nobody's listening to this.
Believe me, if they were, they're not
You're like,
anymore.
no.
Oh,
They're like,
God.
There's
Alright.
lonely people at home.
Yeah, the only people listening to this are the ones whose Christian radio station just went off the air.
Can you see if there's
That'd be
anybody?
hilarious if this was a radio station show. We could have our own.
Welcome
Actually,
to
podcast, right?
Involuntary Alien Consciousness Christian Radio with your host,
Dreaming cooperative.
E.T. Gazebo.
E.T. Gazebo, brought to you by E.T. Gazebo.
Magic massaging fingers.
Let's check in with our guest, Dee Wallace,
She's going to talk to us about her I am self.
about the creation of self.
She was in Lambertville last year. That's how come I remembered it.
Oh,
And I would have gone to see her except.
we should go see her next time
I
she's
remember
back.
now that went around our group in some way because someone was saying E.T.'s mom. I remember that now.
It says there's one viewer,
I love you.
Oh, boy.
one.
Hopefully they're on a
Maybe
lot
it's
of
Dawn.
drugs and painkillers.
Don said
or
hi,
something.
so maybe it's Don.
Dawn? Dawn, if it's you, I'm so sorry about this evening's program. Dawn, if it's not you, I'm still so sorry about this evening's program. Stay with us. It'll get better.
Or not.
Or not. It might get worse. This is what happens when you've run out of faith. It looks like this. It just looks like supercilious chaos. You know, they discovered another tunnel between
Yes.
Tijuana and San Diego.
Yeah, with a lot of
Fucking 1 ton of cocaine.
yeah.
Heads are going to roll.
It ruined my day.
And 7 tons of 7 tons of marijuana. 7 tons of marijuana.
Going
That's
through the-
14,000 pounds.
I
Of
can't even imagine what
marijuana.
that
In
looks
this
like.
tunnel?
Yeah. I think like if you even saw it, you'd be like high forever.
So how big was the tunnel?
The tunnel was 3 feet wide.
So it's a crawling tunnel.
Well, it was a crawling, it was more, it had a rail system in it.
Oh, so you just.
So I don't
send
think,
shit
I don't
through.
think, yeah, I don't think people went in it. I think it was a rail system. It was the origin, of course, was in a house in a residential area in Tijuana that was like in a closet. And there was an elevator beefy enough to hold 7 or 8 people that could put
Like, this is awesome.
send quantity down to the tunnel, put it on the rail system, and send it into what had turned out to be a fence enclosed pallet business, buying and selling pallets.
Nice.
And the tunnel opened up, not inside a building, but it opened up like, in the ground underneath a dumpster. So they
Nice.
probably had the bottom of the dumpster pulled out
never
and they
had to
could
come
put
out. They
the
could do
material
that
in the
ever.
dumpster.
Yeah.
And then a truck would come and load the dumpster on the truck and then take it. And apparently Border Patrol saw a little too much activity around this place, maybe non-pallet related activity. And so they followed the trucks, and they busted them.
You made an unpalatable discovery.
They made an unpalatable discovery.
They'll probably just resell.
What I wouldn't do with 1 ton of cocaine. What is that worth, a ton of cocaine? I mean, that boggles my mind. A ton of cocaine? Jesus. Anyway, I'm sure there's been some executions since they busted that tunnel.
Executions?
Well, sure. I mean, whoever they feel like holding responsible
I
for
don't know,
being
but
caught
the
is all
people
dead.
that run our Food and Drug Administration.
Those guys are cool.
Probably the people that are committing these crimes.
Yeah, it was probably some kind of insider thing.
Well, it makes sense when you're like, they used to put cocaine, heroin, morphine, all these things in products. That's what they originally were selling.
Right.
The drug companies and Coca-Cola and all those things were just,
Right.
and they weren't even writing on the label that it had
Cocaine in it.
heroin in it.
Yeah.
So people were taking cocaine, heroin, and aspirin, and all kinds of shit all together at once.
Oh, can we get
Opiates.
any of that stuff?
I know.
Or is that off the market
And then
now?
they started getting in trouble. They had to put labels and whatnot.
That labeling thing,
So I guess they went to corn.
that labeling thing hasn't worked out very well.
Corn. No, it hasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just corn.
Yeah, they called it all corn. Corn syrup. It's really just cocaine, heroin, and aspirin. Mustard gas.
Petroleum.
Oh my god.
Petroleum.
I'm not kidding.
I saw that in something the other day that I thought was like a good product, and I was like, "Oh man, petroleum got into that too." So
I want to
fun.
know how anyone can take themselves so seriously to even consider becoming like spiritual
I know
in the
when
midst-
you're like, "Look
in
at
the
what's
midst of
going
this
on."
surreal, realm of
Well, because
total
we
horseshit.
don't know like our history. I mean, there is. I know that none of that actually like is real, but it's nobody
story.
knows.
Yeah, really. It's like, so let's say you go see Jeannie Zandy. Not that any of us would do that. What is she going to do? What's going to happen?
Put on the show.
Good vibration.
You're going to have good vibrations. Yeah, I mean, it's just like drinking Coca-Cola, which they took off the market. Sooner or later, they'll make Jeannie Zandy illegal.
Well,
Yeah, well, that'd be great if spiritual teachers came with a warning label from who's that physician that they put on the cigarette thing? Surgeon General. From the Surgeon General or the Spiritual General, they'll create a new federal department called the Spiritual General. And like spiritual teachers will have to wear like a warning label. Like, at best, I will entertain you. At worst, I will take your money. You will end up with nothing. Right.
Molest your
And
children.
And molest your children. Well,
That's pretty much.
that's been done. See what happens. Like, what happens to your mind if you had one? If you've actually run out of relevance. What happens to you if you run out of relevance? If you run out of implication? it gets a little fuzzy, right? So what is that called?
Real
Squeaky
fuzzy.
logic from, what is that phrase I love so much?
You know,
Squeaky action?
What is it called? That stuff in space,
Spooky
fuzzy.
action at a distance.
Yeah, spooky action
Or
at a
something like
distance.
that.
Yeah, that's just the best. That's what you end up with, spooky action at a distance. That's what you've got. Consciousness without all of this story and implication, and without all of this motivation to even care about what's appearing at all ever, is just spooky action at a distance. That's cool. I would say that's really fucking cool, but that's hard to sell, because everyone comes to the great Dharma. Everyone comes to the Dharma with, clearly an agenda of incredible pride, incredible disappointment, betrayal, and every other, like unsavory emotion that one might have. So you bring all of this unsavory emotion to the so-called Dharma, wishing or hoping that the Dharma, whatever, however it shows up, will relieve you of that, right, discontent, or provide you with some purification or practice or, vector to something or other. And then you're like, well, wow, you could actually put all of that down. You could put the Dharma down. You just put it down. Because you don't begin. You see, you don't arise. Spooky action at a distance doesn't actually inhabit. It doesn't anthropomorphize. And here we are. Spooky action at a distance. No past, or at least not a practical one that needs bother you.
Definitely no clear-cut cause and effect kind of
No cause and
relationships
effect,
at all.
no
Like,
future.
none that you can say with any definitive.
And your present is just presence. It's just spooky action at a distance. It's just presence, complete. Just absolute presence. And it's not presence as a body or presence as a mind or an ameliorative, right, for what ails us. It's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. That's this. Really, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? It seems so kind of absurdly simple and intimately at hand. And yet, how easy we fill this spooky action at a distance with such a force of nature, force of story, force of implication, force of time, that we literally conjure loyalty to self out of thin air, and then take that on the road as if we need to resolve everything that ails us. Or we become, like so many become, turned to the dark side of greed, deceit, and exploitation. So, like, the whole species has gone completely insane and become incensed with spooky action at a distance appearing to be something that needs to be resolved. What about me? What about this? Won't I amount to anything?
And thinking that you have some idea of the rules, some concept of how you can play this game, but you don't.
When
The whole
Prahlad,
thing is- it's so fraudulent. It's
the whole thing is so
unbelievably
fraudulent.
Fraudulent.
It's
You're
like,
no,
yeah,
no.
really. Fraud,
Fraud down to like the last cork. or
poser,
something.
right, down to the cork. It's fraud down to the cork, yeah.
This isn't about, not just talking about like one family of human.
The young Prahlad Brahmachari had been hit. Was it this time? I don't know. He ran away from home. He did that every once in a while. He came from a very orthodox and very, very poor Hindu Brahmin family. His siblings were starving. One of the stories is he stole an unripe mango from a neighbor's yard and to give to his mother, not to eat for himself, but to give to his mother. And his father, took a chunk out of his hip with an axe. He showed me the scar, and he was bleeding profusely and ran into the woods and shit like that. And some other story, he ran away from home and he was up in this really spooky action at a distance place, Voltaire or some strange place where, you know, weird beings hang out and yogis go to, you know, encounter weird things. So he was up there, and this is the story of how he met his guru, who was one of those ancient aliens guys. I mean, the guy, he said, his feet were this big. You know, I mean, I saw him tell the story, and with great, you know, he was weeping and telling the story. So, and you were like, he was like, you know, his feet were this big. He was just weeping. He was up in this weird place, and he was weeping because he thought his parents had died, or he'd never see them again, or he thought that maybe they thought that he had died, and you know, so he was having a release. And out of the jungle comes ancient giant alien guy, like wearing like a string.
Wasn't he blue?
No, I don't know if he was blue.
No.
Krishna's blue. I don't remember him being blue, but he was giant. And he had nothing. I mean, he was a Naga Baba, you know, more or less naked Baba with the smallest of modesty cloths. And why are you crying? He says to him, and like he's startled by the guy because he was gigantic. He tells him, my parents, and I don't know. And he's like, he said, you know, you'll be fine. You know, stop crying. You'll be fine. And he hands him money. I mean, out of nothing. It just, you know, here's money, appears in a sack out of nowhere. Then it was like, you know, it was like 10 rupees or 20 rupees. And Prahlad says, as he's telling the story, I'd never seen that much money all at once in one place. I mean, it was nothing, but he was like, oh my God, overwhelmed with how much money. He says, go back and see your parents. Everything will be fine. And then the giant heads off into the woods, and Baba Prahlad, you know, calls after him, Thakur, master, you know, sir, Thakur, won't I ever amount to anything? Won't my life ever amount to anything? And the guy turns around and was like, you shouldn't have asked that question. Because then the guy comes back, grabs a thorn off a tree, pulls Prahlad's tongue out of his mouth, puts the thorn in his tongue and rips the Om symbol in his tongue. This is the story. Boom, you know, the Om symbol in his tongue, and he's bleeding, and he's, I'm going to die. I mean, that was it. He was like, that's it. Giant alien, ancient alien just drew Om in my tongue with a thorn, and I'm going to fucking die. Then the guy, whatever, he grabs some kind of soma or some kind of nectar from a plant, from the ether, I don't know, and pours it on his tongue. And Prahlad's like, I've never tasted such honey in all my life. I mean, he just was going into samadhi telling the story about this nectar being poured on his tongue. And all of the pain went away and all of the fear went away. And he just went into a blissful samadhi that could not be possibly, right? And the guy says to him, through you, he named him. I mean, his name was already, you know, Chandra, whatever, but his family name, but he named him Prahlad Chandra Brahmachari. You are Prahlad Chandra Brahmachari, and through you, a great work will be done. Disappears.
Should have went with not becoming anything.
That's what I'm thinking.
Don't talk.
That's
to the
what I'm
alien.
thinking.
Don't let him touch your tongue.
Don't fuck with ancient aliens, man.
Anything.
They will mess with your head.
Don't want to be anything.
Now, through Prahlad, great works were done. There's no question about it. I mean, he touched the lives of many, many people in profound ways. And, you know, even though no one has anything to show for that. I mean, he's dead. Most of the Indian devotees that I knew when I was very young, they're all gone. You know, a few of them are left in their 70s or whatever, and, you know, they're all suffering from one thing or another. But what he did do, at least during his lifetime, is he would hold an annual festival called Annakut, and he would feed tens of thousands of people. His little tiny ashram in the middle of nowhere would take in donations and generosities, and people would come from all over to eat. Poor people. I mean, that was like the best meal they had in a year when they came to his place to get a meal. And there are photos of it. You should see it. And there were like 50-gallon drums of rice and dal, 50-gallon drums of rice and dal, and fire pits 30 feet wide with gigantic woks in them. And you know, men cooking all the time over these incredibly hot fires, dal and rice and dal and rice. And in would come all these people, and they put down leaf plates with leaf wood with stitches through them, you know, plates made out of leaves. They'd slam the leaves down. And then guys would walk walk through with, 5-gallon buckets and wham, 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 rice, wham, 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 and then the doll, wham, 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 and this would go on for all day and all night for like a week or more. That was it. That was the work. And there's nothing else to show. He fed many, many people, and it was like, right on. Cool. But otherwise, there's nothing else to show for it. Maybe I'm blaspheming the guru. I don't know.
Dysfunctional website and
Yeah, that's right.
confused old men.
Yeah. Bunch of confused old people in a website.
You know
Yeah.
what? Because that teaching's rubbed off on you, and here you are.
Yeah, well,
And
but see
other-
this clearly amounts to nothing.
Yeah, here we are eating
I know.
cookies. Somewhat overweight white people eating cookies in a children's school.
It does amount to nothing, but it's kind of like changing the vibration or people's.
Yeah, I mean, Prahlad with all of his mastery, yogic mastery, right? Yeah, you don't change Earth. You don't change, right, the functionality or dysfunctionality of the dream of the world.
You don't change. Well, that's the point.
Okay.
That's a big point.
Yes. When you come to it, it is. I think, yes, when you come to that, it could be a big point. It's not big for very long. Because if it really hits home, it can't stay big.
If you can say that there's no point to the functional side of the world or the dysfunctional side of the world,
Mm-hmm.
because you know what? I drove by a graveyard the other day, and I thought like most of these people I've never met.
Right.
Some of them were born and lived and died before I was even born.
Yes.
And all this. Okay, but they had these, and then I think about like my ancestors, right? They had these lives, they had these worlds, they had these things, they did. Like I remember the first meeting I came to when we were at Panera, one of the first meetings when we were at Panera Bread, and it was like, the shopping center and all the energy that was put into the stores, and now it's being leveled, now there's a bank there. But anyway, and it's all just, what's that ash that they,
Vibhuti.
it's all just that, it's all just ash, right?
Yes.
So there was this person, or his name was whatever, his remains seemingly are there, or her remain, but the story of their lives, it's like
Yes.
the good, the bad,
Yes.
Yeah,
I know.
kind of weird.
It is weird.
There's nothing,
What do you remember of your grandparents?
not much. All of them except for my grandfather on my father's side died when I was in grade school.
Yeah,
They
right.
died very close together.
Yeah. So you can't even be a carrier of the memory of your grandparents' lives.
Well, there's stories. I was actually very dependent on my father's mother for a while, but
Because she knew that you were involuntary alien consciousness.
I don't think so. I think she was more
Looking back, you might have a point. Yeah, not to query specifically, but I mean, the rich life of, my grandparents, through whatever stories I was told or care to retain, right, is, yeah. I mean, the history of it all is just gone. And whatever history remains that, is written is contrived.
Yeah, it is contrived because some people in the family might describe her as a teetotaler, and I might describe her as the only sane one on both sides of the family.
Yeah.
And that is the entirety of whatever you call humanity.
That's right. Well, being only
Yeah, it's all
5 days
story.
sober, I
It's
can't
all
say much
story.
about much.
I mean, so bookended
I don't
by
have
life
any-
and death is a person's existence. So
Yeah. And even the appreciation, the feeling of the memory of the story of our own life, our parents' lives, our grandparents' lives, whatever historical figures may inspire you, right? That's felt as presence. It's a present gesture, a present sigil, a movement in present experience. Recollection is always a movement in present experience that, conjures another hypnotic field. That's what the species, you could say, is ardently or involuntarily refusing to see. That we're just nothing at all, participating in or wafting through one hypnotic association after another, none of which have, you could say, actual implication or consequence or cause. Wow. Then you could really be done with the fantasy of your life. That's kind of off the scale. I mean, you don't go to see Byron Katie to be, dare I say, emancipated from the fantasy of your life. You go to get a leg up on that life. And it turns out that Byron Katie is a lot like the living Eckmaster. In this room a while back, the Hugh people were here for a short while.
I took part in that car for a while.
Yeah, chanting Hugh, Hugh. Now, if it was me, I would have been doing Drew, Drew, in hopes of a sequel. And so I asked one of the gentlemen, I said, so who besides the living Eckmaster gets to enjoy the fruits of, call it super consciousness? And he was almost taken aback by that, as if no one else, no one other than the living Eckmaster could possibly aspire to or culminate in that kind of super consciousness. I said to him, why would you participate in a religion where the only guy that gets the goods is the living Eckmaster, and that's not you? And I said, no pun intended. He couldn't answer the question. But see, Byron Katie could look a lot the same way. She has all the goods. She has it all, which is nothing at all, except tons and tons of money and fame and celebrity and a giant thingamabob and turnaround houses and every fucking thing. So from one point of view, it looks like she really kicked ass. She made reality her bitch.
Soon anyway.
And so we're like, wow, she's enlightened and she's attractive and she's had good plastic surgery and she's on to a much better husband than she had before. Her kids don't like her anymore, but no one gives a shit. She's rolling in dough. I'm like, I want that too. I want to do the work. I want to do it so bad so I can be just like Byron Katie. But you see, you're back in that same Eckankar thing. The only one that gets the fruits of the realization is Byron Katie, and everyone just becomes a you subscriber by doing the 4 questions and the turnaround and wandering through the imagination of their life with some kind of a, spiritual, emotional, psychological advantage. What a ruse. And if someone does mature in her organization and maybe starts to stumble into, what you could call, who knows, the fruits of some kind of understanding, then at least in the example of this lovely woman named Maggie in Maryland, she was exorcised from the institution because only the living Eckmaster gets to have all the fruits. If you actually win, whatever that suggests, you have to go someplace else. I don't know what that tells you about the organization, but that's, all of it is inevitable. I mean, it's a similar thing with, Amachi's worldwide organization that donates tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars to charities and hospitals and education and feeding the poor and ashrams, I mean, it's really better than the Masons could ever do in terms of a philanthropic organization. But everyone is under the, under the thumb of the authority figure, of the living Ekmaster as, Amachi. She's the one that's one with God. She's the Divine Mother. The best thing that you're allowed to do is worship. I'll pass.
Yeah, that's kind of why I've gotten sour toward a lot of these, all the religions.
There you go. I think you have to. I mean, if you have an appointment with your own inconsequentiality, with the depth of freedom and humor that amounts to your own inconsequentiality, if you have that appointment, then I would venture to say that, yeah, you have to get out from under the influence of everything.
Right.
Yeah, you have to. Otherwise,
Politics, religion.
everything, right? Otherwise, you're going to be holding something viable in a worshipful manner, whether it's socio-political or spiritual, who gives a fuck? You're going to be holding something viable in a worshipful manner that continues to reinforce self and other. And as long as you're reinforcing self and other through a misinterpretation of the wild banshee of experiencing, then you remain under the influence of creature, consequence. And that is no fun.
I wonder if we have like influence over each other on a, for lack of a better word, psychic, and I don't like to use that word because there's so many weird implications around that word. But like on a, there's chatter, and then there's like, because today I'm really hungry, I go into Chipotle. I noticed that they have like organic and they kind of make simple foods, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and this little boy comes in, and he's enamored by me. Now, this
Nice.
He says I look like his grandmother.
Oh,
Isn't that lovely?
it is.
Brat, He might look like his grandmother, which was good because he liked his grandma. And
Well, she's a 32-year-old stripper.
attractive. Right. So, sadly, anyway, if I looked back on that encounter, it was a little odd. This kid was like, enamored by me. Maybe he was a little nervous, going in there, and he was looking for a familiar face and whatever, or somebody to just kind of like cling to, whatever. Who knows? But I'm just, it could have been anybody. And next thing you know, I mean, like maybe something was occurring on some etheric level between him and I.
Yeah.
That I'm not aware of.
Right.
He may have been, I wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But or maybe it was just some cute, like I said, something that, whatever.
Right.
But I guess maybe I
Thanks.
wonder if there's something like that going on. I'm looking for
You're looking for
meaning.
Yeah. And it's not that looking for meaning is poetry. I mean, it's grandeur.
It's like sitting in Peter Brown's living room, and there was this kind of like moment between him and I.
Ooh.
Of course, it wasn't like that.
Tell Lily.
We know, we're just teasing.
Let's
There was
just
a
find
moment.
one Lily was right there, but it was kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I see you, you see me. There's like this. Nothing to be said acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know, but nothing.
The rapture of the non-dual.
Okay.
I don't know what they call it, but I hear you. Sure. Yeah.
I didn't attach any meaning to it, and it's just to make up thought in my mind, but it seemed like there was a connection on, like, what do you want to call it, etheric level, like I had with this little kid, or,
Yes.
you know, some stranger on the street,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know, or a moment with one of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Francine and I may even have, at one moment, you know, been on the same wavelength.
I would imagine it
Highly
happens
unlikely.
quite frequently between you. It's just,
But you know what I mean?
yeah, sure. I think.
I mean, sometimes you just have a connection with somebody. You know? In a moment of, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm looking for meaning again, but I guess
Yeah.
that's not bad.
Like I said, you know, poetry, meaning, living, finding meaning, assigning meaning, feeling the fruits of it it's all grandeur. It's all grandeur. Yeah.
Like, I'm speaking grand, like, I want to be something.
No, you're actually participating in grandeur. You always are. Consciousness is always participating in expressing as grandeur, not grandiose egotism. I mean,
Okay.
you know, exaltation. Everything is exaltation. Memory is exaltation. Meaning seeking is exaltation. A moment with a boy, someone at Chipotle or in someone's living room is exaltation. Yeah. You see,
It's different spin on whether you're like, I want to say like a person trying to obtain something, objectifying.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use that
Gotta
word
say
more
whatever.
often, exaltation.
Well, even
Exaltation.
It's a good
when first there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. So
Lisa likes those kind of things, songs, little songs.
it's a learning tool for her.
Interestingly enough, one thing at Pebble Hill I really liked was the little repetitive, simple chants that went on.
Uh-huh.
I
Right,
felt like there was more God in that than a lot of other things.
right. Gary Culp is real. Gary Culp is real. You mean that one?
No,
All right, back to exaltation. Get it at Pebble
I don't
Hill.
think Lisa's feeling the exaltation.
I am feeling the exaltation at times. The radiant presence, exaltation. There's your word, Jeff. I hear you.
Yeah. You know, there's a part of the trajectory where you reconsider the warp and woof or the geometry of what we're calling consciousness or egoism or blah, 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 using the 4 questions and the turnaround, you know, right? And so you're kind of, or Paul Hederman speaks so eloquently about the, you know, the frivolity and the humor of the self, right? And so that's engaging. You start to see the default lens that you're operating through in a kind of a revealed humorous manner. Yeah, you take it and yourself a little less seriously. And so maybe there's a period of fasting, right? One fasts from egoic enterprise or storytelling or creating meaning or, you know, I visit psychics less often now, whatever. And so that becomes kind of another constructive element to one's discovery path, one's unfolding process. And then you could say it becomes a mountain again. And you're like,
Yeah.
whatever.
You're in another avoidance pattern. You're like, I can't do this either. This is just another.
Yeah, that's right.
horrible,
You-
me against something else
Yes,
avoidance pattern,
you-
and it's
You graduate.
like, no,
You graduate.
not this again.
You graduate from avoidance patterns. Yes, you graduate completely from avoidance
Keep
patterns.
boxing yourself into them somehow accidentally, and you're like, ah, no,
Mhm.
I can't do this again.
Yeah. And then
No.
everything is grandeur, everything is exaltation. Because you're not operating through unconscious participation in, right, resistance patterns, avoidance patterns. You're no longer fasting from your own so-called geometry of avoidance patterns. And you're like, there are no avoidance patterns. And you needn't change
Yeah, so
at
even
all.
if you appear to be acting in an avoidance
Whatever,
pattern, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Just pay no attention.
that's, yeah. Pay no attention to the woman behind the curtain. You see, because it's funny, very subtly we can and do, or consciousness can and does, objectify everything that's showing up, which is kind of another form of hysteria or another activized avoidance pattern. So if we no longer objectify consciousness, presence, ourselves, our memory, our tics, our behavior, our irritabilities, our exaltations, if we're no longer objectifying, then it's like it's a mountain again, but nobody's standing on it.
Well, maybe like the little boy was showing up because I have some I want to be a grandmother, and
I think the kid just walked in and fell in love with you. That was that. And smart kid,
maybe.
I mean, but you see, that's what we have. I mean, we have this unceasing bounty of intoxicating affection. That's what you are. That's what this is. Unceasing bounty of intoxicating affection.
So you got to give Jeannie a little credit with the.
Oh, absolutely. I touch Jeannie Zandy's feet. I'm nothing. Jeannie Zandy is a sage. I touch her feet.
We'll see when her stick off, please.
Yeah. And even that, you could call, the samadhi of affection, the nirvikalpa samadhi of affection, which is unceasing, ongoing, knows no boundary. It also doesn't have to be ongoingly demonstrative.
Nope.
Nope.
Good luck.
I mean, you don't see, Peter Brown getting all excited about shit, unless maybe it's a Les Paul.
Who is that?
It's a guitar. It was a person.
Well, it's, yeah.
It was
He
a
was
person.
the first, didn't he invented am I getting this wrong?
Yes,
Yeah,
no,
he
I think
invented the first
Leo Fender and
serious kind of,
these guys were the pioneers of the electric guitar craft.
his music was actually kind of folky electric kind of, or whatever, right? And whatever little recordings they have are like funny.
Yeah. And I don't remember if Les Paul himself was a guitar engineer. I just don't remember if he was a guitar engineer or whether they named the instrument after him because he was
The first to really play it, maybe.
I'm not a Gibson file.
Yeah, I can't
but
remember
I know
now.
people who
I know
are.
I've looked it up and I've listened to whatever little clips they have. Of
Yeah.
them,
Right.
Anyway, so
So,
what the fuck are we talking about?
custard-filled donuts.
I'm getting excited about something.
You can see the
Boston
curious
donuts.
and involuntary arising of interest and attention and fascination with what shows up as, this moment's content, this moment's cogency. And interest and attention they're unadorned. Interest and attention is always unadorned. It never identifies, it never can identify. with what appears in interest and attention as the effusion of phenomenal consciousness. Our identification is with the effusion of expressive or phenomenal consciousness. That's why, the species is heading toward the extinction wall. With or without the help from the Illuminati. And even that accusation is, specious at best.
He's working through it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just this another kind of other meme where you end up in an avoidance like pattern of these people are the reason everything's all fucked up and whatever, and instead of just dreaming a new dream, it's like, dude, just stop doing that.
Yeah, right.
Isn't doing
Yeah. Look at
just dream a new dream.
the force of inertia of we plebeians and the 99% we plebeians and the 1% and the 1/10 of the 1%. Everyone is under the influence of one inebriant or another, which is intoxication with phenomenally expressing consciousness.
Yeah, just riffing stories, like just unbelievably.
Sure, playing Monopoly with the world.
I know. The other day, I'm like, can they
I
just
looked
stop
through
playing
it.
G.I. Joes? Like, who the fuck wants to play G.I. Joes?
I know. Why do they keep
Why?
training?
I didn't even want to play G.I. Joes when I was a kid. I know I'm not a boy, but
What
like,
is the point of having a standing army?
even like dogs are like, I'm not going to anthropomorphize a small plastic man. Like, why would you do that? Why would you want to play G.I. Joes for eternity? Come on.
I have clients.
That's the best that we got going on.
I have clients that
That's the most
from
fun.
time to time will exalt the warfighter, and I'm like, rah, rah for the warfighter, rah for the warfighter. And you're like, excuse me, it's 2016. Why do we have standing armies? Why are we outfitting human beings with combat gear and weaponry? Excuse me. Did Jesus die for our sins or not? What did we miss?
Why are we still being punished?
Why are we still being punished with such an
Profusely.
aching stupidity? Yeah, unbelievable that the machine of war we still lust after it with such credulity.
It's weird.
It's fear.
I don't know. Maybe.
Fear.
Well, it's interesting. My brother, when he was like kind of opening up and crying a little this one day about his kid, the cancer thing.
Yes.
And he was like, to him, the most important aspect of the whole thing was just that somebody could do something, like that they could do something about it, because they promised him that they could do something about this.
Right.
So it's just it's not about the preventative, like seeing the trajectory of what's actually occurring, how you might get to this point, all the insanity around. It's just like, no, someone can fix it, and that's cool. And I'm just going to go. That was like, that's it. It's
That's
like
right.
The
That's right.
quick fix or whatever. Somebody's given me a prescription and I could just follow it, and
Yeah.
because otherwise I
That's
can't
right.
handle this
Yeah.
like at all.
That's just it. That's right. We can't handle this at all. We can't handle this at all. And our our interest in biological continuity is intense.
Yeah.
So and we feel that way about our lives or about the lives of people that we love, et cetera, and
Yeah, maybe
we
the
just,
military war is like a prescription. It's a like,
I guess,
you
right.
know what I mean? Like, oh, there's bad people out there. Well, we'll write a little prescription.
Well,
We'll get some guns and-
genocide is a prescription.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Oh, or are you having some, Jews in your neighborhood boggling up the works? Well, let's just write a prescription
I'm
for
not
that.
going to a FEMA camp.
Yeah, you'll see. We'll see about that. We're all going to be playing like chess in the FEMA camps.
I know. Well, that's what I thought. Maybe it won't be that bad. Who knows? Right?
You draw a little 64
As
boxes.
long as you stick with the motto of the slaves, they
Yeah.
look busy, and the white people won't bother you. You
That's
just have to
right.
look busy. You don't have to
At the
do a lot of
FEMA
work.
camp, you play
Just look
chess
busy.
and you sing Prince songs. Purple Rain.
Yeah, except they're gonna get vaccinated and heavily drugged, and then
Well, then it won't be long. Then we'll be just frothing at the mouth,
The heavily drugged part.
spasming.
Yeah, the heavily drug. Well, I don't know if they're gonna give you good drugs. I don't know what they're.
Yeah, I mean, it's too scary for even intelligent people to cop to the presence of a depopulation agenda, of an extinction wall. It's too weird. But you're like, wow, yeah, no, we're really in it.
Yeah.
We're deep in it, deep in.
Well, they were showing what they
Far
did
into
when
it.
they did that to the Japanese people.
The internment camps.
But they were showing the video footage of this, and they were showing them getting shots, and I'm like,
Yeah, what were they
Like
shooting up the
vaccinated
Japanese?
everybody. Well, because when you put a lot of people together, like animals in a cage,
Oh, right.
you need antibiotics and vaccines. And
Oh, my
shots,
God.
So they don't get each other sick in small spaces. I don't know, but I was just having a lot of fun in my head about the future of.
The future of what that's going to be like at the FEMA camp. Yeah, line up.
And I was like, well, yeah.
Mm. We participate in such surreal frivolity in the geopolitical consciousness. And it's not just the hubris of the Christians that I was referring to earlier, but it's the hubris of everybody's mind, everybody's fear, everyone's denial. That's the surreal atmosphere that we're living in. I mean, the refusal of self-realization, if I can be, bold, is at the expense of hitting the extinction wall. Because if we look at the, geopolitical milieu, well, it's pretty clear that, Jesus didn't work it out. Muhammad didn't work it out. Baha'u'llah didn't work it out. Abraham didn't work it out. It didn't work.
Mm.
It just didn't work. The whole superstitious ideation of founding masters of the world's great and not so great religions
Harriet Tubman,
didn't work
all
out.
those people.
It's like everything lives and dies in, right, a miraculous euphoria which turns out to be in vain when it comes to, right, sustainability in the earth model. And I don't see that. I mean, I kind of enjoy it. It's kind of a luscious, if not painful, conundrum to play both sides of the fence, not just the liberation side of the fence, but to see the vanity in it, the vanity in the entirety of it. including the masters of the world's great and not so great religions, or incredible beings like a Prahlad Brahmachari, or name thousands of them over history. Yeah, it's like, oh, it's just vanity because it's just all evaporative, and the fundamental confusion in what we might refer to as human consciousness is just driving headlong into the extinction wall. And the best thing you can do is like
somewhere, but
is
you're
like
just
go
driving yourself into an extinction.
and you're just like, well, we may as well party. May as well, if we can, before we end up playing chess in the dirt with bottle caps
I know,
at the
that's what I
FEMA
was
camp.
doing this morning. I said that to the lady at the coffee thing. I'm like, I'll have some quiche smoothie. I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just trying to mix it up, have a little fun before I have an
That's right.
I'm like, there's some soup in there.
Yeah, I just want to buy a bunch of
I
shit
don't
because next week I'll be at a FEMA camp playing chess in the dirt with bottle caps. On that note. This shit is not spiritual. Get over it.
If everybody just didn't take themselves so seriously or didn't have an agenda
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of like, cruised on the wave of their imagination or the wave of the times, the moments that were not in our imagination,
Mm-hmm.
there wouldn't be FEMA camps and
Hard to know. Anyway, I can certainly see why the little boy at the Mexican restaurant fell in love with you. It's clear as day.
If they could only be like, 45 years older.
Don't worry, he's coming.
Something that resembles normal.
Yes, he'll be normal and he'll notice that you are irresistible. And each day he would be wise to put his head on your feet.
You don't want to be with anyone normal. Did you just say that?
Well,
Come on.
Normal in the way I like normal.
Yeah.
Wacky
If
as
I
shit.
showed up, you'd be like, I don't even think we could talk, really.
Normal is different than most people's definition. Actually,
There's a communication barrier here.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. There is one viewer. There's a viewer.
Still on there?
No, it went to 0, but
Yeah.
someone's, don't go. Is there a viewer?
Who was it? You gotta find out who it was.
You'll never find out. We'll be signing off now. Thanks so much for joining us
Okay,
on
bye.
this Christian Radio.